Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me here for WLBT Plus. My name is Kara Shirley. I am your digital news desk host here with a different kind of newscast for you. It's more of an interactive type of newscast. If you're watching us on our web right now or through the WLBT app, you can check us out also on Facebook or YouTube. And if you have any comments or questions or anything like that during this, you're welcome to leave them there and just have a conversation with me, with other people watching during the newscast. It is Friday. Thank goodness. It feels like this week has been forever long. I didn't think Friday was ever going to get here, but it did, thankfully. And it is actually a very beautiful Friday outside. If we take a look over downtown Jackson right now with our WLBT sky cam, beautiful blue skies, nice puffy clouds, and a lot of sun and a lot of heat. So if you are out there today, make sure that you're drinking plenty of water and trying to spend some kind of time either in the shade or in air conditioner if you can. It is a very warm day and it is going to get even warmer. We're going to be talking with our first alert weather team here in just a little bit to get our weekend forecast. We're also going to have Howard Ballou. You all know and love him. He's been here at WLBT forever. But he did an incredible story last night that aired at 6 o'clock last night. You can watch it on our website too. But it's called The Cycle of Violence. And it's talking about the prevalence of crime in our area and the crimes being committed by teenagers, really children, kids under the age of 18, making and committing these very violent crimes. And we're going to be talking with Howard in just a little bit on that story, kind of looking behind the story that he did and seeing what we could do to maybe help the cycle of violence end, because it's going to take everybody to work together to get that to get it to end. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and jump into a few stories that we have here for you before we start talking with Howard. Like I said, he'll be in just a little bit. Yesterday, when we came on live for WLBT Plus, we went straight to the press conference that was being held in Louisiana following the grand jury meeting there, and to talk about charges for Daniel Callahan and Victoria Cox, his alleged accomplice. As we know, Daniel Callahan is the man who killed Callie Barnett over there in Louisiana and then kidnapped her two children, 6-year-old and then 4-year-old Aaron, brought them across state lines to Jackson and ultimately ended up taking the 4-year-old child's life. Well, yesterday, grand jury did meet in Tangapoa Parish over in Louisiana, and the prosecutors announced that they returned charges for Daniel Callahan and Victoria Cox. So Callahan is now facing 2 first-degree murder charges, aggravated kidnapping, and second-degree kidnapping charges. His accomplice, Victoria, is charged with 1 count of first degree murder and the same kidnapping charges as Callahan. And she is also being charged as an accessory with the death of the children's mother. And of course, like we told you yesterday, the district attorney over there is wanting he's wanting the prosecution to start in Louisiana rather than Callahan or Cox facing prosecution here in Mississippi first. So let's hear what he had to say.
And I still feel strongly that this is the place where this needs to be handled initially. If we are done and it wants to be done other places, that is of course at their discretion. But this involves, first of all, it originated here. It involves local people here, and I feel strongly that this community deserves the right to have it ultimately resolved and decided here.
Now, under Louisiana law, first degree murder carries the possibility of life in prison or the death penalty. So he's wanting the charges, or the people, Daniel and Victoria, to go before the jury and trial and have the trial there first before here in Mississippi. What do you guys think? Do you think that they should face those charges here first, or should they face them over in Louisiana first? I am honestly not sure of how that decision is made, and what it would take for both states to be okay with whatever the decision is. But I can understand his point when he is saying that it originated there. That does make sense, but also the crimes were committed here as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll follow this case, of course, through to the end, and we will let you guys know about it. I see you guys here on Facebook with me, and Bobby Robinson said, so sad. And then Stark said, absolutely sad. And it is. And Stark also let us know that he feels like they should be over in Louisiana first. And then Christina Chandler says they should face it in Louisiana first, since that is where it started, but it still needs to happen here too, since the child was killed here. I think that is a great point that you make there, Christina. And she also added that it makes her so sick. And yes, it is a situation that it is just hard to even talk about. As someone who has children, I have 3 children of my own. I have a grandchild, and to think of this happening to a innocent child and the terror that they went through. It is a very hard thing to talk about, and hard thing to know that happened. But yes, he does need to face his charges over there in Louisiana, but he also needs to face those charges here in Mississippi. We will certainly follow that, as we said, and we're going to let you guys know what it ends up being. Tiffany says here that it is heartbreaking. He needs to be taken care of in both states, and I believe that we all kind of have the same train of thought there, where we think, yeah, he definitely needs to be taken care of in Louisiana or Mississippi. Honestly, does it matter what state tries him first? I don't know. I don't know the legalities of that. But if he is convicted of killing here in Mississippi, or he's convicted of killing in Louisiana, I think he would still face the same type of charges in prison. And then, of course, he's also going to have some federal charges that they're looking at convicting him of, because he took the child across state lines, or the children rather, across state lines. And I believe that it's a federal offense there. So I know that there is going to be federal charges that are going to be coming down for Callahan and for his alleged accomplice, Victoria Cox. We will follow that and let you guys know about it. Now, one thing over in Louisiana that has had a lot of questions brought up about this situation with Callahan abducting the 2 children after allegedly killing their mother is a Amber Alert went out, but it went out hours after the girls were discovered missing. Hours. So now there's lots of calls for the state of Louisiana to do more when it comes to issuing those alerts. And while some experts are saying that the 3-hour delay seen in this case was within expectations, other Louisianans are saying they should set a new bar and establish a real-time process online. So we're going to let you hear from someone over in Louisiana to hear their thoughts on this.
You look at the current form and how it works. It's online. You have to fill it out. Then you have to save it, send it in. I would like us to look into a process maybe that is a direct access. So when you fill it in, it's a required field step by step, so nothing's missing in the process. Then that would go directly to our officials that deal with the Amber Alert system.
So, like I said, it took 3 hours for this Amber Alert to be issued for Erin and for her 6-year-old sister. They are asking that the Governor Landry of Louisiana and State Police Colonel Robert Hodges to examine ways that speed up the Amber Alert system. But Representative McMakin, who we just heard from, says that so far he has not heard back from them. It does bring up the questions, though. if the Amber Alert had been issued sooner, of course, I am not aware of a timeline of when they realized that the girls were gone. It says went out hours after the girls were discovered missing. How long did they know they were missing before it was taken? The Amber Alert was put out. How long were they actually missing before the Amber Alert was put out? Were they already in Mississippi by the time the Amber Alert was put out? But you have to ask the question too. If this would have been put out sooner, if that hours long delay would not have happened, could this whole situation have changed? Could he have been caught in Louisiana with the girls, and could Aaron's life have been saved? That's a lot of speculating questions there, and I don't know that we would ever be able to get the answers for those questions. But it does bring up those questions. You'll never know the what if of stuff, right? You never know the what if, but if we can speed that up, whether it be in Louisiana or here in Mississippi, and make the process a better one and a smoother one, shouldn't we all take the steps? And I say we all, as in all states, take the steps to see what we can do to speed up that process, so that this can possibly keep it from where this doesn't happen to another child going forward. I'm not aware of what the delay that is within expectations, what that timeline it looks like here in Mississippi. They do say that the 3-hour delay that was seen in this case is within expectations in Louisiana. Is that okay? Is that 3-hour window, is that number okay? Should we bring it down? I believe we should try to bring it down, whatever we have to do to make this process more streamlined and get the information out to the community, to the surrounding states, so that no child has to go through this again, or go through a extended kidnapping or abduction type of scenario. So, like Stark says here, there is always room for improvement. Yes, I agree with that. There is always room for improvement. Tiffany says here that the Amber Alert should have been issued immediately, given the fact that the mother was murdered and the children were missing. It could have saved the younger baby's life. Thank you so much for letting us know your thoughts there. Christina says this was ridiculous on the Amber Alert system. People came across him, broke down on the side of the road in Brookhaven, and pulled over to help. I was not aware of that, Christina. I'm going to make sure that our newsroom can check into that and see if that was actually the case. Says after everything was said and done, that's when the alerts came out. Christina, thank you again for that comment. Like I said, I'm going to make sure that our newsroom sees this so someone can look into it to see, did that really happen? Is there any way to confirm that happened? And we will let you guys know about that. So they are working, or at least one representative in Louisiana is doing what he can to get the process sped up. I don't know what it is here in Mississippi, but we will look into it. But I appreciate you guys leaving your comments. It is a very sad situation. It is possibly something that could have been avoided, and hopefully it can be fixed in the future so that no child goes through this ever again. So let's switch to something that is not quite as doesn't quite hurt as much to talk about, and may actually make some people happy to talk about this. But the Cock of the Walk over in Ridgeland apparently reopened yesterday, one day after being temporarily shut down due to a failed inspection. Now, I am pretty sure a lot of you saw, or at least heard, if you did not see, you at least heard about the viral video that was going around social media. It showed what was being alleged as their kitchen area, and said that they had, there was rats in there, very large rodents, and it prompted a lot of people calling the health department to file complaints. And the health department went out to the location on Wednesday and did an inspection. Now, yesterday we spoke with the president of the restaurant, Bill Priscock, and he says that they closed voluntarily on Wednesday due to a burst pipe. And he did allow our cameras inside the following day. So he says the inspection report was accurate, but he says that the complaint started after posts from a former disgruntled employee who was fired because of a fight. So their president of the restaurant is saying it was an employee posting these who got fired. That may be. Were the pictures in the videos actually true though? So does it matter what the reason was behind the employee posting the things? If they were accurate videos. So the inspector returned yesterday and gave them a B rating, and they were allowed to open yesterday. Another inspection will happen again in 90 days. Now, they also said there at the restaurant they've never failed an inspection, and we were able to confirm that. They've never failed an inspection before the C inspection that was given, which C for the health department is a failed grade. But the health department report said that they had signs of infestations, rodent droppings, that there was improper food labeling and no covers on some of the food in the walk-in freezer, and there was the burst pipe in the kitchen. So the president is saying that it all comes down to just the burst pipe. That's why they were closed. The report says differently, but I don't know. So they are open right now. They're going to have another inspection in 90 days. Hopefully the issues that we saw in the viral video that went around, if they are actually issues within that restaurant, and that was an accurate video and accurate images of the inside of that kitchen, hopefully they will be corrected, and hopefully the employees at the restaurant are not going to face any financial hardship because of this. That is the one thing that I thought about immediately was, those employees that are there, that they are dependent. A lot of them could be dependent on their income there, on their tips, especially servers who don't make a full minimum wage, even an hour. I believe the full minimum wage for a server, I believe it's in the $3 an hour range. And then their tips are supposed to compensate for anything else. So you see that on the video there, which let me pull it back up for you guys. You see the video here, and it has showing the inside of it, and there's not a lot of customers in there, and that makes me sad for the customers, or for the employees there, for the waitresses and the servers and the wait staff, all that stuff. So hopefully this will not affect the restaurant or their employees for a long-term basis, and hopefully if there are problems, they will get them resolved. We told you earlier this week about an accused murderer in DeSoto County who is on the run. His name, he was taken into a courthouse there. His shackles were removed, and he just walked out of the courthouse. So the district attorney over there in DeSoto County is saying that his office wants to do their own investigation into what happened after a crucial piece of evidence went missing. So here we have a interview and talking with the DA of DeSoto County here to explain how he went missing, how he got away, Joshua Zimmerman, he's the accused murderer, and how this happened in the DeSoto County courthouse.
It did not take long for us to uncover a conspiracy.
It has been nearly a week since accused murderer Joshua Zimmerman walked out of the DeSoto County courthouse in Hernando and has been on the run. DeSoto County District Attorney Matthew Barton said something needed to be done about the investigation on how Zimmerman was able to walk out.
We will have transparency. We're not going to sweep things under the rug. We're not going to act like, stuff happens. We're going to demand accountability because I think public safety requires that.
That is why his office launched an investigation of their own. They received video surveillance yesterday, and shortly after, they noticed they had been hacked, and the videos were all gone.
From an outside entity, not the state of Mississippi, local entities directed the county IT to go onto my server and delete state's evidence. So the video that I had obtained through lawful and traditional and appropriate manners in the scope of the duties that my investigators have was deleted because of these co-conspirators.
Barton says he knows who did it and they have been confronted. However, he said that is not enough. So he is asking a grand jury to investigate the courthouse and how Zimmerman was able to walk out no problem.
The grand jury will be investigating our courthouse. They will be investigating any other county buildings they believe need to be reviewed, and any person or agency associated with the taking of state's evidence.
Wow. So apparently, according to him, just to give you a little recap, an outside entity within the state of Mississippi, directed the county's IT to delete the evidence of the videos from his servers. And that is crazy. That's kind of scary to think that would happen. That could happen. Now, the district attorney, he didn't say or give any updates on where Joshua Zimmerman could be, but he did say he was scared to know that a man like that is walking the streets. Is there a lot of questions this brings up? How did this happen? Why did this happen? Why was this allowed to happen? And why is someone within the county IT listening to someone from an outside entity telling them to go into the DA's servers and delete the evidence of the video of Joshua Zimmerman leaving and how Joshua Zimmerman left? I guess we'll just have to follow this and see. It is a crazy story to think about. This attempt or alleged attempted murderer is out on the run, or out free, and the evidence that could have shown how it happened and why it happened, who allowed it to happen, has been deleted. That's crazy. We will definitely follow that and see what the grand jury decides there after they tour the courthouse and they see what may or may not be lacking there. And of course, we're going to keep you updated on the search for Zimmerman. Hopefully he is found and taken back into custody very soon. We're going to let you know when we hear that happening. If you download the WLBT News app, you'll get alerts throughout the day of breaking news as it comes into the station. We'll let you guys know about it. And you can also watch all of our newscasts there on our app or on our website. You can watch them live as they're happening, or you can watch them on demand. So make sure you download the WLBT News app. Something else that we told you about yesterday, this is kind of a good news story here. We had a lot of not good news stories. Let's have some good news stories here. So the Jackson Police Department and Jackson State University are hosting a youth football camp. So this is the first time that that JPD and JSU have come together to host these type of camps. So Police Chief Joseph Wade says that the camp gives local youth the opportunity to interact with one another through football. And he also says that it helps to teach them life lessons through teamwork, leadership, and accountability.
We have to do things differently. We can't do things the same way, go out here and put handcuffs on these babies and expect it to make a difference in our community. This is the way you make a difference in your community. Let these kids know how great they are, how much potential they have, and how much we're depending on them. They are the future.
I talk to Chief Wade all the time. I tell him, like, man, I really appreciate what you guys do on a daily basis. Anything that I can do to help. And, we talked about it, and this is how we were able to team up with those guys and, get these kids to come out here. And I appreciate the parents and the kids showing up for us today.
So both Chief Wade and the JSU head football coach, TC Taylor, said they hope to be able to continue offering these camps in the future. And I completely agree with Chief Wade there. We can't keep going out and putting handcuffs on babies and expect it to make a difference in the community. You have to get them before they get into that cycle cycle of violence, which is what we're going to be talking with Howard Ballou on in just a few minutes. Before we get Howard in here, though, I want to give you guys just a quick update on the weather, what we're looking at for this weekend, for today. Again, I'll show you what it looks like outside right now over downtown Jackson. We have beautiful blue skies, sunny skies, some nice puffy clouds out there, and I believe our current temperatures are looking pretty warm. So let's get this pulled up for you. So we're looking in the mid 80s, so it's not too bad, but it is going to get a lot warmer over the weekend. So we're sitting at 84 in Jackson, 84 down in Macomb. The warmest place on the map right now is up in Lexington. They are looking at 87 degrees right now. Over the next 12 hours, we are going to have a 0 chance of rain, which would be nice. No rain. If you guys have afternoon pool plans or anything like that, you got a nice forecast for you. So around 5 o'clock, still going to be pretty warm. We're looking at a high of 92. It's going to dip down into the mid 70s overnight. Looking outside right now at our current radar, not a stitch of rain in sight, which is a very happy thing to look at. And over the next 7 days, we are looking at a very warm temperatures. I was going to say severe warm, but we've seen it a lot worse here, and especially last summer. But we do have no chances of rain, or at least right now it's showing a 0 chance of rain over the weekend. Mid 90s and mid 70s at night. Now we do pick up some chances of rain on Monday. We're looking at 20%. And as we get through to Thursday, we are looking at a 50% chance of rain with some highs still in the 90s. The rain will be nice. Hopefully it'll help cool stuff off. So that's what we got going on for our weather for this weekend. And just make sure if you have any plans outside, it's going to be a great time to be outside, but make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you drink something besides alcoholic beverages if that is your plan, especially if you're going to be outside all weekend. And try to spend some time in the shade or in the AC if you can. We're going to take a quick break. I know it sounds crazy to take a quick break on Facebook Live, but we're going to have Howard in here in just a moment, and we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit to get him in here, and we're going to talk about his cycle of violence piece that he did last night. It's been an investigation, something that he's been looking into for months, and we're going to have him in here talk more about that and see how we can help make our community, not just Jackson, but all communities surrounding this area better, and try to reach these kids before they get into a life of crime. We will be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
First Alert Weather Team, 3 on your side, and Mississippi's most trusted station during severe weather. Sponsored by Environment Masters. Watch WLBT live and on demand with the WLBT News Channel, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and YouTube TV. Download the WLBT News Channel and watch Mississippi's most trusted station for news and weather. WLBT is Mississippi's breaking news leader.
I watch WLBT every morning. I really trust WLBT to give me what I need to know.
WLBT has really been part of my family.
You can always turn it on to watch the news and the weather.
They keep me abreast of everything that's happening in my community.
They're an honest news network.
Maggie Wade. Maggie Wade is my favorite anchor.
Carmen Poe, she's very funny. I like her jokes.
Watch WLBT. Thank you.
WLBT is on your side.
And if it wasn't for you, we still wouldn't have knew.
Breaking the most important stories.
The court declares a mistrial in the matter of the state of Mississippi versus William Ervin Edwards.
The police, they screwed up the investigation because they really didn't investigate.
Breaking news that impacts you.
Where the cover going to stop? Where is it going to stop?
We are WLBT, 3 on your side. Mississippi's breaking news leader. First Alert weather coverage means that we alert you at the first sign of dangerous weather, with more weather forecasters than any other station, more weather tools than any other station, and the only station in the country with mobile weather radar technology that allows us to catch weather threats that the National Weather Service radar can't reach. Sunrise to sunset, 7 days a week, We are WLBT, 3 on your side, and Mississippi's most trusted first alert weather team.
Hey, everyone. Okay, Howard, look, I've got us really zoomed in here.
Okay.
I'm going to fix the camera here just a second.
That's all right.
We are here with Howard Ballou, and he is an anchor and reporter here at WLBT. I'm sure some of our people, let's move this camera back.
Okay.
I'm going to move it real quick so you guys can see this kind of behind the scenes
There we go.
of how stuff works here. But we have Howard here, and I'm sure everybody knows and loves Howard. You've been here
You're
at
kind. Thank you.
WLBT for how long?
Since 1984.
Wow, Howard. I was born in 1982.
Don't say that. Yeah, that's true. I'm happy to still be doing it, and it was the best move I ever made. Left in '89 and went to Dallas to pursue my top 10 dreams, and had a chance to go to either San Francisco or St. Louis or come back here. And Frank Melton made an offer I couldn't refuse, so I'm back here, and I have no regrets.
We're happy he's here. We're very
Thank you.
happy that
Thank
he's
you.
here. But tell us, okay, so you did a story on the it's called The Cycle of Violence,
Yes.
and it was talking about how crime with the youth has become especially prevalent over the past couple of years.
Yeah,
right?
we're talking violent crime too. You know, not little petty theft or what have you, which is bad, but we're talking about, murders, aggravated assault, carjackings and whatnot. Kids as young as 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
It's just shocking, but it's happening.
Right.
And it's verified by the chief of police of Jackson, Canton's police chief, FBI, and there's a trend, unfortunately. And in the report, I point out that the chief is saying that it has a lot to do with gang activity,
Right.
Neighborhood gangs and whatnot.
And now you spoke with someone that is from the area. His name is Willie Varnado.
Varnado, that's
and
correct.
he used to be part of the problem, right?
Sure did.
So tell me a little bit about Willie.
Willie, from what I understand, was a promising athlete. He was a standout high school football player, and I believe had gotten, if not scholarships or interest from one of the major universities here in Mississippi, And he grew up in a neighborhood where a lot of that was going on, and you had to identify with a certain group
Right.
to survive in that neighborhood, according to Willie. And he just got off on the wrong path and was involved in some pretty horrible stuff by his own admission.
Yeah.
And he eventually saw the light. He did 2 stints in jail, was convicted on arrested on 2 murder charges, but not, got off of those. But it was, he admits he was part of the problem.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna show you a clip from last night, and it's kind of highlighting, unfortunately, some of the youth that have just been arrested recently.
Yeah.
And what Chief Wade here in Jackson is saying about those crimes. So here we go.
Right now, Alex Bush, 17, Zion Scott, 16, Jordan Long, 16, John Foote, 17, Marvin Moss, 15. All teenagers, all charged with violent crimes.
We have arrested 5 teens this year for murder. 5 for murder. That is very concerning to me.
In May, a West Jackson family is terrorized by carjackers who take one of their vehicles. The suspect, 14 years old. Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade says violent offenders are trending younger.
12 to 17 is where we're seeing these individuals committing.
Right now.
So 12 to 17 is the age. And, you showed the video there of the 14-year-old who, with the carjacking that happened not that long ago. Now, with him, kudos to his parents, because his parents saw him on the news, on the video, and turned him in. Yeah.
His mother was the one that got him in custody.
And kudos to her, because I know that's not an easy thing to have to face and admit that your child did.
Sure.
But then you also showed the other teens. And the one that I remember right off is seeing the 15-year-old.
Yeah.
who committed murder and
Mhm.
killed another teenager
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
that long ago.
Yeah.
But ages 12 to 17 is what they are seeing the most crimes are for the violent crimes at
Well,
the individuals.
yeah, they're seeing that trending up
Yes.
now. You know, there was a time that it was not, it wasn't teenagers doing those violent crimes. It was rare, but now it's becoming more common, and that's concerning to everybody involved. Judge Faye Peterson pointed out that she was seeing many more of these underage people in her courtroom.
Right.
And when you get to that point, it's over. You know, it's drug charges. Sometimes they go in and get back out. But, you know, when you're convicted of a violent crime like that,
Right.
you've pretty much, thrown your life away.
Really, and really, they're throwing their life away before it even begins.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, which with that age, and he, or Faye Peterson, Judge Peterson, has said to you, I remember seeing this where it's scary when you look at a child of that age having a gun in their hand because they don't have the impulse control.
Correct.
Like that part of their brain is not even formed yet.
Yep. Not developed.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
and they're committing these murders and assaults and all this stuff, and these kids, these babies, are going to jail probably for the rest of their life because of a very extremely poor decision.
Yeah. Well, they see the movies and the video games and whatnot. They don't realize in reality that when you shoot the person, they're likely not going to get back up.
Right.
So it's a horrible thing. There's so many levels. Access to guns. That's an issue. Where the parents, that's an issue. There's so many factors involved here. What are we going to do about it?
Right. And you talked to Chief Wade about there being a gang problem here
Yes.
in Jackson. And we're going to play a clip from Chief Wade real quick to let you guys hear what he had to say about that.
Okay.
Yes, we have a gang problem here in the city of Jackson. We have a cycle of violence. This is what it looks like, Howard. Gang activity, drug activity, retaliation. Cycle of violence. And we're trying to break that cycle of violence. For the first time in probably over 20 years, JPD now has an intelligence unit.
So talking about the JPD having the intelligence unit, can you explain a little bit more what the intelligence unit is, what they do?
Well, I think they have more people out on the street now. They are working with other agencies like the FBI, U.S. Marshals. They're expanding their footprint when it comes to gathering information and going after the bad guys, finding out where a lot of this is emanating.
Yeah.
And it's not like they haven't done that before, but they've stepped up their effort.
They put a little bit more power behind it.
Right. And actually forming an intelligence unit
rather
than just relying on the investigators who've done a great job. JPD has made a lot of arrests.
They really have.
Yeah. They're getting the bad guys when these things occur. The problem is keeping the things from occurring.
Correct.
And that's where, the public has to get involved. Parents have to do a better job, and in cases, guardians, because some of the kids don't have familial structure, like other kids. And so it's something that's got to be addressed in our society.
And the unfortunate thing is could be a lot of parents out there that are single parent households.
Correct.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so, nowadays that you almost have to have both people working to make it. And when you are a single parent household, that parent could be out working, trying to make ends meet and provide for the child.
Absolutely.
And that's where, talking about it's not just the parents, but also the community getting involved, seeing what everybody can do to help take care of this and to see these children.
It sounds cliched, but it does take a village. It really does. You need to be involved. If you see something, you need to say something. It's get away from the mentality of snitches get stitches. You got to report things that are not going like they should.
Right. Because they don't know if they don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. And so if you see something, report it, let people know.
Absolutely.
Especially like, for instance, in the case of the mother of that 14-year-old with the carjacking.
She stepped up and did the right thing.
It's
yeah.
such big kudos to her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you also spoke with Jason Reed of
Yes.
the FBI,
Yes.
and talking about the gang activity and what is happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that they have affiliations with the larger gang names that you would see or think they would be in bigger communities.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is just to, he said, to instill fear or respect with their rivals.
Correct. It's not so much that they are the direct affiliates of these big name national gangs.
Mm-hmm.
It's more, as everybody involved has said, it's more of a neighborhood type thing.
Right.
They're neighborhood kids getting together and say, this is my block, and you don't cross into my neighborhood. Just silly stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then they will, as Jason Reed pointed out, attach themselves to a gangster disciple or vice lord, again, to instill fear, or gain respect or what have you.
But of course, it's not limited to just here in Jackson. This is happening everywhere, in all communities. I mean, and we spoke with Chief Wade, and he's talking about how many teenagers he's arrested for murder this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said 5 teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
But I know if everybody just looks back at some of the stories that even we've reported on,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just teens here in Jackson that are involved
Yeah.
in these violent crimes. I mean, look at what happened over in Rankin County with that teenager who killed her mother, shot her stepfather.
Sure.
And
Hattiesburg, with the
Hattiesburg.
football player, those
Yes.
are teenagers as well.
It's happening everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
something that everyone's going to have to jump into to try to fix.
I just want to point out, when we did that interview, it was April, and that at that point there were 5 arrests. One of them, the Mooneyham fellow, the charges were just murder charges were dismissed, and it was excuse me, aiding and abetting, I believe. I'll have to double check on that, but it was not a murder charge. Since then, there have been other teens convicted of murder, so it's going on.
It is. And so Jason Reed told you some information about how people can help to keep kids from even getting into that gang activity.
Absolutely.
So we're going to play that clip from him real quick.
Talk to your child, your children, get to know what their internet activity is, get to know your child's friends, and get to know the parents of those friends. Explain to your child how to deal with peer pressure.
And peer pressure can be such a hard thing for kids because
it's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my children. I have the ones at home with me right now, a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. I also have a 23-year-old who's gone through the life of peer pressure. But there's just hearing some of the things that kids say to other kids. We all know. We've all said it, I'm sure. Kids can just be mean.
Sure.
Like
Absolutely.
even in just their words, not even their actions. But to think of kids being peer pressured into joining a gang type situation or to be involved in these criminal situations, and it's coming from the ones right next to them. They're supposed to be their friends,
Yeah, I have 3 sons. They're all adults now, but I was terrified, and even back then when they were growing up, there were still those issues. There was still that peer pressure.
Yeah.
So I certainly understand what you're going through right now.
And there
So many
wasn't
parents.
social media and that stuff.
Exactly. That's expanded. Yeah.
Yes, it
with
has.
the Instagram and the Snapchats and the TikTok and whatnot. They are easily influenced, and there are some bad actors on social media. So we, as he said, we have to monitor their internet activity.
We really do, and try to get outreach programs that are helping them. Like, for instance, Chief Wade has one that is called the Police Athletic League or PALS program.
Yeah.
And it's something where they have mentoring young kids and trying to help the kids, instill in the children that there's a purpose for them. They have a sense of purpose. They can be a good adult, a good law-abiding adult, that they don't have to depend on these the gangs or those with the criminal activities to give them a sense of purpose. And I just think that is awesome that he is doing that. But also,
I do too.
The man that you spoke with, Willie Varnado, he is doing that as well.
He is. Hats off to him. He, by all intents and purposes, for all intents and purposes, should be deceased now. And I included that on my web story about his encounter with the now police chief. But he has dedicated, he's a dad too now, and he has dedicated his life now to bettering the community and getting to these young people in that age group before the gang leaders get to them.
Right.
And they're recruiting. I mean, Jason Reed with the FBI said they are actually recruiting these, he said 13 to 17-year-olds to get involved.
And I can see that because that is the age where you are learning, figure out who you are, and you're looking for
Very
someone
vulnerable.
to accept you as you are.
Correct.
And that's what these kids are getting from these peers who are criminals, and they need to get that from adults that are not in the criminal activity.
And I imagine they're flashing cash and fancy clothing and fancy cars and whatnot, and an impressionable teenager sees that and thinks that's the way to go about achieving those gains.
Well, we're going to hear a little clip here from Willie talking about stuff that he had going on and how he overcame.
Yeah.
Snorting powder, popping pills, and all kind of stuff going on. They had me on the TV on the manhunt, and so I like, man, I just should go ahead and kill myself. I won't have to worry about this, worry about that. But God had other plans. For the summertime, they gotta be.
Now, I just want to say real quick, I love Willie's shirt.
Yeah.
I love his hat. I love his style there. He seems like a really fun person, someone that maybe kids would be attracted to look up to. And so
quite a character. It was a joy, honestly, speaking with him. He, by his own admission, is a man of God now and a man of faith. And you saw the kids he was with there. That's the age group. That's the impressionable group. And I'm sure they are being approached now by people who would steer them in the wrong direction.
Right.
So thank goodness for Willie Varnado.
Right.
And I wish him all the success in the world.
Yes. Thank goodness for him. We also talked about, you said yesterday in your story about a drive-by shooting that happened in Jackson.
Yes.
It was a 13-year-old girl was arrested as one of the people involved in that drive-by
Just
shooting.
last week. Right after we had got this thing edited and completed, that happened. So it's continuing. It's an ongoing issue that somehow we've got to get a handle on.
We've got, and I think one thing that we maybe could do to help this is to support the police or the people who are reaching out and doing outreaches for these children, and whether that be supporting them with time, supporting them with money, with things for the kids, snacks or gifts, or just things, not even gifts, but just things to help them make it from day to day. School supplies, things like that. It's I think a lot of times, some people might think that it has to be a big show of something.
No, it's the little things that add up. Yeah. Yes. And he pointed out, speaking of that there was a Boys and Girls Club there. It's now closed.
In Canton.
And that needs to be revitalized. Somehow, somebody or some entity needs to step up and get that back open, or someplace like that where kids can go, especially during the summer when they're out of school, and have constructive things to do. Even if it's just basketball, but set up some computers so they can study or explore, and learn, rather than being out on the street and learning what happens out on the street.
Right, exactly. Well, the story that Howard is called A Cycle of Violence. You can go to our website, wlbt.com, and you can see the entire thing there, watch all of it. And there is also a way, there's a link there that you put on the website. Tell me about that link.
Yeah, it's by the FBI shared it with me. It's a parent's guide to recognizing gang activity, a parent's guide to how to keep your child from getting involved in gang activity, and the signs you need to look for to see if there's any type of activity going on with your child. And it's a very good, comprehensive checklist The link is there on our website in this story.
Mm.
And of course, Varnado's phone number is on there.
Right.
We have the Canton police chief you can reach out to, Jackson police chief. The Jackson police chief is begging parents, begging the community to please get involved with the programs they already have in place, like the PALS program. And they are, as he mentioned in the story, they had 38 kids involved in that who won't be on the street. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you know what? That's making a difference.
It is, because if those 38 kids can reach one more child,
exactly,
and then it grows and it grows and grows.
Sure
So
does,
I mean, helping even just one child really does make a difference, and it takes everybody doing something.
Well said. That is true.
Well, guys, this is Howard, and I'm so thankful for you coming on with me.
My pleasure.
Like I said,
Thanks for having me.
You've been in the news business for almost as long as I've been on.
Well, you know what? That's true.
So much to learn from this man.
Approaching
here.
40 years, almost there.
Wow.
In this market, I should say.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to WLBT Plus. We hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you check out the story on our website, on Howard's page. You can get all of the information there, watch the entire thing, and see how we can all work together to help make this community and this cycle of violence better, to make that end the violence, end the cycle of violence. So you guys have a great weekend. We're going to jump off now. I'll be back Monday. Bye, y'all.